Hello and welcome to the Workflow Academy. In this comprehensive Platform Academy video series, we'll dive into the transformative world of workflow automation, empowering you to build, monitor, and optimize efficient workflows with ease. Join us as we explore the core tools of ServiceNow's Workflow Automation Suite to build flows and subflows, playbooks, and decision tables on the Now platform. Hi, my name is Lisa Hohenstein, and I work as an outbound product manager for the Now platform. My area of expertise is workflow automation, and I create enablement content, videos, articles, and blogs on the Now community. I have been with ServiceNow for over 5 years, and I have been part of the ServiceNow ecosystem since 2016. Before joining ServiceNow, I was a platform owner, admin, and developer at a customer. Today, I'm joined by Jason Lefevre, who is a manager on the inbound product management team covering workflow automation. Jason and I will walk you through some advanced playbook configuration options. We'll look at the experience configuration and overrides, layouts and controllers, as well as the options for embedding playbooks in different interfaces for your users to interact with them. Following this overview session, I will publish several shorter Academy videos with walkthroughs of each of these topics. Keep an eye on this Academy's community article and the video description to find links to these demo videos. Quick reminder, we might mention coming releases or product features that are still in development. All timelines and features may be subject to change, so please don't make any purchasing decisions based on anything we say today. Today, we will cover some of the skills you need to set up a new Playbook experience, define experience overrides, specify a custom playbook layout, and embedding playbooks in different interfaces for your agents and end users to interact with. The skills you acquire today are usually not used daily, which is why it's even more important to have a reference like this to come back to next time you need them. First, for everyone new to playbooks, and as a refresher for the rest of us, let's look at what they are and how playbooks and Playbook Experience go together. Our vision for building playbooks on the Now platform is that we want to enable ServiceNow developers and business owners to build and manage end-to-end workflows on the Now platform. You can imagine playbooks as an extension of flows, as it adds a UI layer to your business logic, allowing agents and requesters to visualize and interact with a defined business process through a simple and task-oriented view. With the release of Workflow Studio, we're unifying the builder experience for flows, decision tables, and playbooks. So you'll find us no longer referring to building processes or process definitions in Process Automation Designer, or also short PAD, but we're now building playbooks in Workflow Studio instead. When you build playbooks, you can toggle back and forth freely between working in the Kanban-style board view or the new, more visual diagram view. Building playbooks in Workflow Studios is just one side of the coin. The other side is the Playbook experience. Agents, process workers, and requesters can interact with each step through the customizable Playbook component. You can define the layout of the stage picker, stage details, and activity layout. Playbooks and Playbook Experience, as well as the Experience demo and additional content, are being distributed through the ServiceNow store, allowing us to ship updates and new features on a quarterly basis. These apps are generally being updated with each family release. However, that is usually in the latest previous version, and there will be a newer version available on the store. We recommend checking the application manager regularly and updating the store apps to get access to the latest features and fixes. As playbooks consist of multiple parts, different developers with different skill sets will perform these tasks in different builders. First, playbooks can be built by developers of various skill levels in Workflow Studio. Process owners and business process users can map out their process lifecycle with placeholders and pre-made activities in sequential or parallel stages. Use Now Assist Playbook generation to accelerate the outline generation. Experienced developers can build full playbooks and replace placeholders created by citizen developers or playbook generation, and they can review and validate the playbook before publishing it. When the baseline activities provided with playbooks do not sufficiently cover your use case, you can reuse existing flows, subflows, or flow actions as automation-only assets, or use them as the automation plan for custom activities. ServiceNow developers can build flows and activity definitions to extend the Playbook activity library. Default activity layouts include record, list, knowledge, instruction, and more. ServiceNow developers with UI Builder experience can duplicate an existing activity layout and edit it in UI Builder using any Next Experience component in our library. Switching to the Playbook Experience side, where can we work on playbooks and who do we need to add them to these experiences? From their inception, playbooks were available to be worked in workspaces and other Next Experience pages. The most common configuration is a dedicated Playbook tab on a workspace record page. Workspace admins and ServiceNow developers can use UI Builder to add the Playbook components and configure the layout and controllers. In the Vancouver release, we added a mobile controller, making them available in the ServiceNow mobile app. The first product to adopt this feature was Field Service Management. Work with your mobile app admins or developers to make the necessary configurations. With the Washington release, playbooks are now also available for service portals, accessed with a dedicated Playbook content item. This was first adopted by the Customer Service Management product, but it is available to all customers. Accessing playbooks in a service portal enables requesters and agents to engage in multi-turn processes. Creating the Playbook content item is seriously simple, as you will see when you watch the demo. This task can be done by any Service Catalog admin or Service Portal admin and developers. Over the next couple of weeks, I will publish a Workflow Academy short video with a demo on how to configure each of these three options. But in today's video, we will focus on the experience side of playbooks, and the highest level entity we can configure is the Playbook Experience itself. The global Playbook Experience provides a starting point and default values for configurations, activities, action mapping, and status mapping. This experience is read-only, but Playbook experiences are built to be extensible. When you create a custom experience in this table, you can also define overrides and extensions for that specific experience. Any values that you do not define here will be inherited from the global Playbook experience. When you create custom activities and activity UIs, these will have a reference to an experience record to define when these will be applied. These override settings will then also show in the Playbook experience related lists. You can learn more about creating custom activities and custom activity UIs in my academy that I published earlier this year. Similarly, this works for action assignments. Actions can be available for activities, stages, or a whole playbook. Stage and playbook actions are defined per Playbook experience. Activity actions are tied to a specific activity definition and Playbook experience. When you create a custom activity that should be interactive, you will add activity actions like, for example, mark complete, skip, or update. These declarative actions can be implemented as client actions, server script, or mapped from UI Builder events through UXF client actions. When you build activities for specific tables and use cases, their state values may be named differently from the default experience status values. Use status mapping to ensure that the right state info shows up when displaying an activity in the playbook. When adding the Playbook components to a Next Experience page, we're no longer limited to the original Behemoth component, but we can now freely place all parts on a Next Experience page. The new Playbook components can be arranged and configured in multiple ways. You can decide to include or exclude any of these and choose between horizontal or vertical stage pickers, as well as showing or hiding as much activity detail as required. Additionally, with recent improvements in UI Builder, you can now connect these components to the relevant data much more easily and quickly than before. Data presets and controllers will wire up all the necessary inputs for each of these components without requiring any specialized knowledge. Before we head over to the hands-on demo, we'll go through some general guidance around creating any of these custom configurations. As a general rule, you want to create your own experience if any of the settings do not serve your business. For experience settings, this means things like overriding the default layout, showing or hiding the stage or activity picker, or specifying the visibility of activities and stages. State mappings are useful to tie task status fields to activity state values. Creating new Playbook activities is a task done more frequently than a new experience or Playbook layout. Whenever you run into limitations of what you can achieve with the activity definitions we ship with our products, you're free to create your own. If an existing activity layout is not enough to satisfy your use case, you can duplicate one that's closest to your needs and extend it with any next experience components. Overriding or adding actions will be necessary to provide your agents or fulfillers means to interact with an activity, stage, or playbook. You can learn more about custom activities in my other academy. I won't talk through every detail on this slide, but I'm including it so you can come back to it for reference. This slide deck will be available as a PDF in the Academy community post linked here. On the left, you see the general architecture of a playbook with stages and activities, and with activities consisting of an automation plan, a UI layout, and generally activity actions. On the right, you can see different parts that can be configured to determine how the playbook is presented to the user that is working it. There are a few more details and moving parts to playbooks that cannot reasonably be displayed on one slide, but this will give you an idea of how the parts play together. After all this abstract theory, let's look at these settings in action. Jason, take it away.
Let's talk about Playbook Experience configuration. One of the pieces required to set up Playbook Experience is to configure your Playbook Experience configuration record. By default, the platform ships the global Playbook Experience configuration record. And this is going to control certain default behaviors in your playbook, in the experience that it presents to your user in runtime. This can be things like how many fields are allowed to display on a form at one time. You can control or limit the number of fields that are displayed on a playbook activity. You can also configure stage visibility. So if there's a scenario where a user has no activities that they can complete within a given stage, by default we hide that stage, but it's possible to show that stage even as an empty stage should you want to present that type of experience to your runtime user. So let's take a walkthrough of where to locate these playbook experience records, and then we can talk a little bit more about the considerations when either using the global playbook experience record, using one of the out of the box business unit application experiences, or building your own custom experience. So from the All menu, we're going to navigate to Playbook Experience. And you can see here we've got a Playbook Experiences option. So we'll click that. And in this instance, I've got a number of out of the box application experience records. You can see here that we have some customer service examples. And typically, what will happen when an application team ships their own playbook experience, they will extend the global playbook experience rather than build one from scratch. What this does is it allows you to pick and choose the default configuration settings that you want to customize for your own experience. So let's open up the global and take a look around. So you can see here we have an active configuration record. We're going to open this up so that we can see what options are available. So you can see here that in this default configuration, we have an activity state option. So we're showing the activity states. We have the ability to filter on assigned to. We can filter on the playbook card status. We have a max form field limit set to 15. And let's show here that we are showing pending stages and activities, and we're hiding stages with no activities. So this is some of the default behavior for your running playbook. If I wanted to override that default behavior, I can just create a clone of this global experience configuration record. And then let's say I update my stage visibility to show all stages. So this would mean that even if I, as the playbook user, have no activities within a particular stage, the stage is still visible. It will still show in the stage picker component, for example, even though I have no work I can complete. So when to consider building your own playbook experience configuration record or extending an existing one is when you want to modify the default behavior for your own custom use case. Let's go back to the configuration record and look at activity overrides. So, activity overrides are a way to override the default behavior of a particular activity. So, an example could be if I've got a playbook that a user in a portal initiates. So, if I'm an employee and I want to initiate some kind of request, there may be certain steps within that playbook that I, as the end user or employee type of persona, can complete. There may be other activities that only the agent or fulfiller can complete. And so you can use activity overrides to look for a specific role. So an employee may have a different role than a fulfiller. You can set an activity override for a specific activity that if the role is employee, the fields, the form that's presented to the user in the playbook are editable. But perhaps that same activity for the fulfiller user, if the fulfiller is viewing that activity, it would be a read only because they don't have the same role as the employee persona. So that's a way to activity overrides are a way to customize the default behavior of an activity for a specific use case. And you can look for specific roles. You can display certain components differently than the default behavior. There's a lot of flexibility for how you can do this. The other thing we want to show is activity UIs. So these are essentially the presentational components that show up as an activity card in your running playbook. By default, we ship 7 out of the box activity UIs. So it's possible to extend these and customize your own activity UIs if there are custom use cases, if you want to go beyond what we offer out of the box. Keep in mind that there is a workflow automation academy that Lisa Hollenstein produced that goes into more detail on custom activity UI configuration. So definitely check that out and take a look at how you can unlock the power of UI Builder and customizing your experiences. It's also possible to map actions to your playbooks. So, for example, we ship some out of the box stage and playbook actions. These are for our restart. So, you can see we've got our restart activity. We also have a restart stage. We have a restart um, playbook itself. And so, you can map some of these activities to your Playbook experience record. And so by default, these actions will be available to your activities, your stages, your playbooks that are within that are using this experience record to determine the runtime experience that's available. And finally, we'll talk about status mapping. So it is possible to map statuses for other types of records to playbook statuses. For example, a task has different statuses or states that it will have as a person goes through the life cycle of resolving a task, completing a task. You may want to map the state of a task to the state of an activity. And so perhaps um, you might have an in progress state for your task, and you would want to map it to the equivalent in progress state for an activity. So as your task progresses, could be progressing outside of the playbook, we can update the state of an activity to reflect the state of the task at the same time. So if something's pending, if something's completed, and any of the states that are in between, it's possible to map the states of another record to the state of your in progress playbook, your in progress activity. One additional thing to note is that each of the things I mentioned, the activity overrides, the actions. See here, we've got an actions list here, and we break them out by activity, stage, and playbook actions. These are all available as their own lists within the platform navigation. So under the Playbook Experience module, definitely encourage you to check this out on your own. And we will be, like I mentioned before, with the activity UI Workflow Academy, we will be diving deeper into some of these aspects as we complete our mini series on workflow automation. So we'll be showing other videos that go deeper into some of these topics, but this was just a general overview to get you a basic understanding of Playbook Experience configuration records.
Thank you, Jason, for this awesome demo. For everybody who's watched so far, please subscribe to this session's community post to be notified when I publish the detailed demos for embedding playbooks in Next Experience pages, in mobile, and in service portals. If you liked this session, please upvote this video. And whether you liked it or not, this survey is your chance to provide feedback or comments about this academy. I am looking forward to reading your comments. You can find the link in the video description or use the QR code shown on the screen. If you're interested in other topics beyond workflows, let me recommend my Colleagues Academy series. Each of them covers a different part of the Now platform. We have content about conversational interfaces, including virtual agent, mobile apps, analytics, next experience, workflow, core platform, and of course, artificial intelligence. While on the topic of more content, if you prefer to read up on topics at your own pace, check out the Workflow Automation Center of Excellence on the community. I've collected resources and links, and I'm regularly publishing new articles with best practices, FAQ, and guidance around flows, playbooks, and decision tables. Thank you for choosing to spend some time today to learn about workflow automation on the Now platform. Thank you for providing your feedback and questions to help us make these sessions better for you. Until next time, bye!